We want to get back to the State of the Union tonight. East Bay Congresswoman Barbara Lee was among the first people to actually greet the president as he entered the House chamber. Congresswoman Lee joins us now from Washington, D.C. in the midnight hour, almost 1 a.m. Thanks for staying up late with us. What did he get right, and where could he have done better, in your opinion?
Can you hear me? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Congresswoman, we can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear us? What did President Biden get right tonight?
I think much of his speech was what he got right. I think, he laid out the case for our support for the Ukrainian people and how this was really right now dealing with, do we stand for democracies or do we stand for autocracies? And our values, our country stands on the side of democracy. And I think he laid it out what Putin's play is in many respects, and how this really is a national security threat to all countries in terms of what is taking place in Ukraine, but also that we have to help the Ukrainian people. And I serve as the chair of the subcommittee that provides a lot of the humanitarian and economic assistance. So I was really glad to hear him come out very strong in support of the Ukrainian people and against what Putin is doing in this terrible, terrible, horrific, violent war that he has started. And I was glad also to hear the president talk about the accomplishments of this administration, how this administration has saved lives and livelihoods, but he also laid out very clearly how he understands how people are suffering still, even though we have record jobs in our country, even though we have economic growth, we have higher wages, people are still suffering. Inflation has been very devastating. And so he talked about he talked about the whys in terms of the supply chains, in terms of the global reasons and underpinnings for the inflationary costs that people are dealing with. But he also laid out a path on how we could reduce the cost of prescription drugs, for example. He talked about investing in child care. Also in terms of just prescription drugs, for example, in terms of diabetes, how $35 a month should be the ceiling. So I think he really laid out a path to make people's lives better.
And Congresswoman, you bring up several points. He talked about it. Can he convince the American people to not focus on inflation and rising gas prices? That's also part of your job. Can you guys convince us?
Yeah. I don't think he was trying to convince people not to focus on it. I think what he was laying out was how he wanted to address it, recognizing that people are feeling the pain. And so that's why he laid out his agenda. And he didn't mention Build Back Better, but so much of what he mentioned was in the Build Back Better bill that is stuck in the Senate because no Republicans will support it and 2 Democrats won't. But he laid out what we need to do to bring the cost of living down for people whose lives have been shattered by inflation, recognizing that we've done a heck of a lot to save lives and livelihoods, but also knowing that we have to do more.
Your district in Oakland and beyond, is it ready to take in some Ukrainian refugees should they show up here in the Bay Area, which is expected at some point?
My district is a district that cares about immigrants. We welcome immigrants regardless of where they're from. And I'm confident that my district, right now, we're raising money. People have been very generous just to help with humanitarian efforts going on in Ukraine. And so I'm confident that my district will welcome the immigrants from Ukraine just like it welcomes immigrants from all around the world.
Congresswoman, thank you for your time. Again, thanks for staying up late for us, almost 1 o'clock where you are in the morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.